Hey guys, so today I have an embarrassingly large book haul. I think I have like almost 40. But before I show you all of these books, we have a sponsor for today's video, and that is Book of the Month. So Book of the Month is a super popular and fast-growing online book service for readers. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and help readers discover books they love. Their team vets hundreds of books each month and gives readers their choice from a curated selection of new and early release titles, so you can spend more time reading and less time researching. Book of the Month is risk-free, and you can skip any month, anytime, and you will not be charged. Plus, they have the best price for new release hardcover fiction. You can get your first book for just $9.99 with the code BOOKBUD. And I really love Book of the Month. I was a subscriber of theirs for many years, and I found so many of my favorite books through their service. So they have sent me their March book picks. Too Good to Be True by Carola Lovering. Unsettling and twisted, this creepy thriller will make you wonder which of its narrators is telling the truth. The final revival of Opal and Neve by Donnie Walton, which is a tale with equal parts rock and roll and black feminist punk spirit for fans of Daisy Jones and the Six. The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. Forget healing salves or soothing tinctures. This apothecary specializes in one thing: helping women fight back. In a Book Club Far Away by Tiff Marcello. Estranged friends reconnect to heal past wounds in this heartwarming story of friendship, forgiveness, and army life. And then finally, What's Mine and Yours by Naima Coster. With warmth and empathy, this multi-generational novel traces the lives of two families in a divided Southern community. A lot of these selections sounded really good, but the one that caught my eye the most is the final revival of Opal and Neve. I've actually had my eye on this for a while. I saw it on Goodreads a while ago, and it sounded so interesting. So I was really excited to see that this was a Book of the Month pick. I love books that follow the lives of like a creative, whether it's a musician or an actor or a writer. So if you want to try out Book of the Month and get any one of these books for $9.99, you can use the code BOOKBUD and the link in my description. So now, on to the book haul. I just want to preface this with two things. One, most of these books I got used, so they weren't expensive. If you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you know that I am cheap and I don't like to buy books full price. So I typically buy books secondhand. And then two, I've been super stressed. It's just been a stressful time for me. A couple weeks ago, I decided I wanted to move. So I've been looking for apartments, and it has been an absolute nightmare, and it's been so stressful like finding a place. So I treated myself to a lot of books, and I didn't realize how many I bought. It's insane. There's like almost 40 books here. Did I go overboard? Yes. Did I deserve it? Yes. So it's fine. So I guess I will kind of like split this up into categories of where I bought each book, because I get a lot of questions about where I find used books, especially when I'm buying used books online, and that's where most of these are from. So we'll start with everything I got on Depop, because this is probably the place where I buy the majority of my books. It's always the first place I go to look for secondhand books, and it's really like a hit or miss kind of app. It's an app where anyone can sell anything. People mostly sell clothes on there, but there are a lot of books, and you're either gonna find people selling things for like really reasonable prices, or they're going to be so expensive that it's like the audacity. So the first two that I got are the second and third books in the, I don't know what this series is called. The first book is Heroine Complex. I read it in my author chooses what I read video, and I loved it. I was super excited to find these on Depop. And basically these are super fun books about superheroes, and like I said, I loved the first book, so I'm really excited to continue on with this series. Then I found tons of indie romances. I always get so excited when I find indie romances on Depop, because normally they are super expensive. So I found two Jodie Slaughter books, White Whiskey Bargain and All Things Burn. This one I have already read. It is an arranged marriage between rivals. And then this one is a dark romance where I think this woman hires a hitman to kill her ex, and then her and the hitman like fall in love. Sounds amazing. Then I found one of my favorite romances, which is Wraith by Rebecca Weatherspoon. This is a male nanny romance, and oh, it's so good. And then the last two indie romances that I found on there, I could not believe I found, was Feast of Sparks and Harvest of Sighs by Sierra Simone. This is the second and third books. Have I already showed these? I think I've showed these in one of my videos. I don't know. But yeah, these are the second and third books in the Thornchapel series, and I'm so excited to continue with this series. So then I found The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water by Zen Cho. This is a fantasy novella. It says it combines the vibrancy of old school martial arts movies with characters drawn from the margins of history. Then I got The Murders of Molly Southbourne by Tade Thompson. This one sounds super weird. It's basically about this girl. Anytime she bleeds, a clone of her is born that wants to kill her, and she has to like fight it, which just sounds so cool. Then I got The Seventh Bride by T. Kingfisher, who is an author that I read, what video is that? I read The Hollow Places and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and that was a horror book. And a lot of people in the comments told me that they also write fantasy romance. I don't know if this is fantasy romance, but it sounds good. And it's about this woman who is forced to marry this lord, and when she turns up to his castle, she finds out that he has been married 6 times before, and all of his wives are imprisoned in his castle. In order to be free, she has to complete all of these like magical tasks. I don't know, it sounds really cool. Again, I don't know if there's like a romantic element to it, but sounds interesting. Then I found Fly Away by Kathleen Jennings, which I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know anything about this. I kind of just like buy anything that was published by Tor.com because there's a really good possibility that I'm gonna like it. But yeah, this is a gothic fantasy horror. I don't know much else about it, but gothic, fantasy, horror are like 3 of my favorite things, so I'm willing to give it a try. And then the last one I got off Depop is Trouble the Saints by Elia Dawn Jones. This is a fantasy book that takes place in Harlem in the 1940s, and it follows like this underground world of magic users. And I've had my eye on this ever since it came out. I feel like a niche genre that I really love is historical fantasy. A lot of my favorite fantasy books are ones that it's like it takes place in some point throughout our history, but it adds in like a fantasy element. So I'm very excited to see how this one does that. Okay, the next place I got books is an app called Mercari, which is very similar to Depop. I feel like this one I have a lot less success finding things, but when I do find stuff, it's like really great. And the thing that I prefer about this app is that you can save searches. So like if I want to save Sean and Maguire as a search, when I open the app, I can see all of the new listings for Sean and Maguire. And it's just a lot easier to find things as opposed to Depop, where you're constantly having to manually search for stuff. And you can get email alerts from Mercari, where you can't get them on Depop. So as soon as someone posts a Sean and Maguire book, I get an alert. So I found a couple sequels on here. The first one is The Archive of the Forgotten by AJ Hackwith, which is the sequel to The Library of the Unwritten, which was one of my favorite books of last year. And it's just like a wild book. It was so much fun, and I'm really excited to read the sequel. And then the other sequel that I found is Phantom Pains by Michelle Baker, which is the sequel to Borderline, which I also read in that author's Choose My Books video, and I loved it. The first book is an urban fantasy about fae, and the main character joins this organization that kind of tracks and monitors the fae that come into our world, and it's mixed with Hollywood. It was just a whole lot of fun, so I'm very excited for the sequel. Then I found a book that I had been on the hunt for so long, and every time I found it, whoever was like listing it was pricing it very expensive, which I get because it is a limited edition, but I found it for $10, which is crazy because like I said, everyone was listing this for like $30, $40, and then whoever this amazing seller was, I thank you. But that is the special, I think this was the Owl Crate edition, I could be wrong. Yeah, this was the Owl Crate edition of Horrid. So the flowers on here are red instead of black. And then on the inside, the desk jacket is this really beautiful illustration, and it is also signed. Yeah, I was so excited to find this. I've really been wanting this edition of Horrid by Katrina Leno, who is becoming one of my favorite authors. I really enjoyed this book, so very excited that I found that, and I did not have to break the bank for it because I almost did. The next book I found is Burn the Dark by S.A. Hunt. This is a book that I had on my most anticipated books of last year, but I never got around to it, and since then I haven't heard anybody talking about this, but it still has me very intrigued. This is basically about this girl who is a YouTuber. She has a channel where she hunts witches, and everyone thinks that her channel is like, you know, that her videos are fake and they're just for entertainment, but no. They're real. She is actually hunting witches. She wants revenge on this coven of witches that murdered her mother. Along with that, I got Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuki, which is another Tor.com novella. This one I think is a sci-fi novella. I believe it's about a main character who can see people's futures, and then her brother is incarcerated and she can see his future and how horrible it is, and she has to decide what she's willing to do to save him. Then I also got To Have and To Hoax by Martha Waters. This is a historical romance, and I believe that the couple is already married and their marriage is not going well. They don't like each other, and so it's about them like falling in love with each other. And yeah, I'm excited. I don't read many romances about already established couples, so it could be interesting. And then the last book I got on Mercari is The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Ningbo, which I also read in that authors choose what I read video. Unfortunately, I did not like this. It is a fantasy novella that I was just very confused by. Okay, moving on, I got 2 books on eBay. I don't typically get a lot of books from eBay. Mostly I get like historical romances on there because there's a huge market for historical romances on eBay. But other than that, it's a little sketchy sometimes. But I did find 2 nonfiction books. You'll see in this haul there are quite a few nonfiction books that I got because I am wanting to read more nonfiction this year. I asked you guys on my Instagram to recommend me some that you thought I would like. I put a bunch of topics that I was interested in, and I just bought some of the ones that were mentioned the most. So I don't really know a lot about most of these. The first one is The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. I do know that this is about a bunch of women working in a factory, and it turns out that they have been exposed to like some sort of like toxin that is giving the women serious medical problems. And then the other one I got from eBay is Bad Blood, Secrets and Lies in the Silicon Valley Startup. I believe that this is like about a woman who conned her way into Silicon Valley, and she was like lying to her investors and hiding the fact that her technology was very flawed. So then the last group of used books I got were from the Amazon Marketplace. If you have the Honey extension on your computer, you can actually track on Amazon Marketplace when the price of books drop. So I usually have books on there and I can track them, and I'll get an alert when like they go under $10 or something, and then I'm like buying it. So the first one I got is They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. So many people told me on my reading books you recommended me video that this is going to be my perfect book. The blurb says, it is a dynamic psychological thriller about 2 women who give bad men exactly what they deserve. Sold already. So yeah, I found this one for like $3, and it is a brand new, like perfect condition hardcover. That was insane. So all the other ones I got from Amazon Marketplace are also nonfiction. So I got Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall, which I have read. I really enjoyed this. Then the other 3 I got, I haven't read yet, but I got The Library Book by Susan Orlean, which is about a fire that happens at the Los Angeles Public Library. Then I got Becoming by Michelle Obama, which I have read parts of this. I've listened to some of the audiobook, but I do want to read it like fully. And then the last one I got, so many people recommended to me, and that is Educated by Tara Westover. And I believe that this is about a woman who, I don't know if she was in a cult or she just was from a very like strict family that kept her isolated. So that's it for all the books that I got secondhand. These are the ones that I bought brand new. So I got Love in the Wild by Emma Castle. This is a Tarzan romance, which just has me written all over it. I've really been interested in this book ever since I saw the cover because do I need to explain? Then I got 2 Talia Hibbert books. So the first one is Bad for the Boss. This is an office romance. And then the other one I got is Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which is her newest release and the last book in her Brown Sister series. And then I also got Go Deep by Rosie Adams, which is one of my favorite romances. It's probably one of the best friends to lovers romances that I've ever read, and I just needed to own it. And then the last new book I got was A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is a reimagining of Dracula, but it follows his brides. Since I got this, some people have told me that it is queer and it is poly and like all my buzzwords, so I'm very, very excited for this. I joined Katie Roberts' Patreon, so every month or every other month she sends out her new paperback releases. So the ones that I got in January were Able, which is her newest release. All I know about this is that it's like a revenge romance. And then the other one she sent out was the Wicked Villains shorts, which are all like the short novellas for the Wicked Villains series. Okay, thank you. I just need 5 more minutes. Okay, we have 3 more books and then we're done. The last 3 are books that were sent to me by publishers or authors. The first one is The Duke Heist by Erica Ridley. This is a historical romance that I loved. I read this in my historical romance reading vlog and it was so much fun. Then Tor sent me The Chosen and the Beautiful by Ningbo. Oh my god, wait, is this the same? Hold on, I did not realize this was the same author. So this is the author of The Empress of Salt and Fortune. However, this book sounds totally much more up my alley. So this is a retelling of The Great Gatsby, and this comes out in June. And then the last book I got was The Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Madeline Lowe. This was sent to me by Penguin Teen, and this is a sapphic book that follows 2 women in the 50s in Chinatown and this lesbian bar that they find safety in. I love Melinda Lowe, so I'm super excited for this one. So those were all the books. My next book haul will not be this big. Do not let me post another book haul in 1 month from now that's just as big. Y'all need to call me out if that happens. But like I said, I was going through a stressful time. I deserved to treat myself, and treat myself I did. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked this video and I will see you in my next one. Bye!